Now, as you know, there is a significant consequence when it comes to climate change, which is storms. Not going to pretend that's not the case. And because China is currently doing what it's doing, there are particular examples about some big storms that are happening, like in the United States right now. In fact, a giant hurricane across multiple states. This has been terrible. I think it's about 130 people that have died. Many more we'll find out in the next little while, but it's been bloody awful. Today, Donald Trump was in one of the affected areas, and among other things, what he's trying to get fixed as soon as possible, like maybe as soon as like a couple of days' time, is people being able to have access to the internet so they can start to communicate what's going on in their house with the emergency officials. This was a good moment for Trump today.
Nobody's seen anything like it, and to every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which has really been hit. We were going there also, and they don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that.
Good stuff. Now, Kamala Harris, of course, needs to pretend that she is completely in charge because she's the vice president. But remember, when she's running, she's not really running as the vice president because she's the candidate of change. Have a look at that photo. Not a lot on the pieces of paper, and the headphones that she's clearly listening to because she's part of a phone conversation, not plugged into her phone. This is a whole bunch of nonsense to make it look like she's involved in the clean-up efforts. As Trump says, correctly, you have to put the cord in the phone for it to work. Oh, and by the way, you know how George Bush hated black people, according to Kanye, way back, was it Kanye? I think so. Way back when, one of the telethons. By the way, no plan of a telethon when it's the southern states. Notice that? No, none of that, right? There's no political advantage in any of that, and all the stars are already, of course, hanging out with Kamala Harris. Literally, while the hurricane was hitting these multiple areas, while it was displacing thousands of people and killing at least 130 people, guess where Kamala Harris was? Had she cancelled all of her campaign appearances? No. Was she back in Washington in the Situation Room watching what was taking place? Because apparently she is involved in the federal government when she chooses to be? No. I'll let Megyn Kelly explain where she was when the hurricane was hitting.
Kamala Harris attended an LA fundraiser. Kamala Harris is at an LA fundraiser with Stevie Wonder, Keegan-Michael Key, Sterling Brown, Demi Lovato, Jessica Alba, Lily Tomlin, Alanis Morissette, and Holly Bailey performing menu, duck egg roll, goat cheese honey blueberry ball, beef Wellington, lobster roll, and crab cakes.
Yeah, the
devastation was ongoing, Victor. How dare she?
I'm just a girl, grew up in a middle-class home who understands what it's like, an opportunity. Reality, when Americans were hurting and they needed somebody to be able to respond to what was happening when it was happening, she was hanging out with the A-listers, raising money for herself to eventually become a president that presumably would care if this happens any time other than election time.